Nnamdi Kanu's case, the legal perspective versus public perception. In high-profile political cases like that of Nnamdi Kanu, there exists a profound disconnect between legal strategy and public expectation. This divide illuminates a crucial truth about our justice system and warrants careful examinations. A lawyer's singular focus when a defense attorney accepts a case, their objective is unambiguous: secure the best possible outcome for their client. In Kani's situation, this translates to pursuing a not guilty verdict or, failing that, the most lenient sentence possible. The path to achieving this result is secondary to the outcome itself. A defense lawyer represents Kanu, the individual, not IPOB, nor Biafra, not a political movement either. Their professional obligation extends exclusively to one person, and preserving that person's freedom is paramount. This distinction often escapes public understanding. Freedom versus martyrdom. A legal professional's calculus is straightforward. There is no inherent value in Kanu spending the next decade and a half incarcerated. No competent defense attorney envisions their client as the next Mandela. The objective is reuniting Kanu with his family and restoring his liberty. This pragmatic approach frequently conflicts with the more ideological perspective held by the political supporters. A legal reality versus the public perception. Those without legal training often misunderstand fundamental aspects of criminal proceeding. The justice system does not operate on principle of morals, philosophy, or political righteousness. It functions within strictly defined legal parameters. Many observers incorrectly assume that Kanu's case hinged on his intention or the righteousness of his case. The law, however, examines actions, not motivation. If evidence establishes that he incited violence against law enforcement, his reasons, no matter how principled they might appear, become largely irrelevant to legal determination. Now, the movement versus the man. A significant tension exists between those focused on the man and those focused on the movement. IPOB supporters may view Kanu's trial through the lens of their broader struggle, potential seeing value in martyrdom of the cases. Meanwhile, those closest to Kanu, his family and legal team, they only prioritize his physical freedom over his symbolic value. They seek his return home, not his elevation to martyr status. Start strategic legal defense. Given the evidence presented, acquittal on all charges appears increasingly unlikely. If the prosecution successfully attributes even a single incendiary broadcast to Kanu, convictions becomes probable. In such circumstances, the insanity defense represents not merely a legal maneuver, but potential the most viable strategy. Such a defense might be the difference between a prolonged incarceration and a path of eventual release. Now, the central question. Now, as this case progresses, supporters must confront a difficult question. Is the primary objective Kanu's personal freedom, or is it the advancement of a cause through his martyrdom? The answer of this question reveals much about one's priorities and about the complex relationship between the individual legal proceedings and broader political movements. The analysis represents the legal perspective on Nnamdi Kanu's case and is intended to provide insight into the strategic consideration at play in high-profile political trials. Okay, guys, you have heard it for yourself. Now, this news is just practically talking about the difference between the political movement and the individual itself when it comes to the law, and what actually is the aim for Nnamdi Kanu's release. Some people, which is like his supporters, political supporters, they may be looking at things based on his actions, like what his motivations, his ideal towards it. Why the law, we're looking at it based on the actions he took, not really what motivated him, the actions he took to get there. That is what the law is practically looking at. I also think he said the supporters will more be looking at this case as more like an advancement into their agenda. But for people closest to Nnamdi Kanu, they're looking at it more as they're prioritizing his freedom. That is what they're expecting from the case, not really about if Biafra is going to move forward after this, or what is going to happen to IPOB. More like they are more concerned about the individual, that is people closest to him, rather than the political motivations of this case. Okay, so guys, you've heard it now. I'm going to drop it here. Thank you very much for coming out here. If you're just joining us here, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Please come again. Bye for now.